Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? How you guys all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man, 1993. And as always, guys, in order to be superior to be the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. What's going on, guys? Yes, we are here live. I'm sorry again, this review is late, but again, life caught up to me Sunday night, and I did not get to watch the full main event. I unfortunately did pass out in the middle of the main event. I missed most of the pinfall victories, so I went back and rewatched that Monday night as I was busy with a lot of other things. And Tuesday nights are, well, my nights I do other things. So yes, it was busy. It was very busy. So I was not able to review the show as soon as I wanted to. Leaving me again behind. It's a fact of life of the man. But of course I'm here. And I'm here to get caught up here. Revolution 2023 for AEW took place this past Sunday, March 5th, 2023, and it took place at the Chase Center in San Francisco, California. And again, the hometown of my very good friend, Robbie One Kenobi. Now, going into the show, my expectations were set a little bit lower than usual for most AEW shows. Like I mentioned, the matches were promising. The build, though, it had its period in the middle, in between Full Gear and Revolution, where it was really good. And then it felt like once the matches started getting announced, they just started coasting a little bit. But after this show, I think this is one of those shows that just massively exceeded my expectations. Now, I know there's some people who are calling this one of the best shows AEW's ever done. I feel like I have a hard time quite saying that's the case. I mean, I'd say it was a very strong show. Again, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But I wouldn't call it a legendary show. When I think legendary, I still think back to the shows I feel like I've seen in my real time that are legendary. SummerSlam 2013, I'd say, is one of them. NXT TakeOver New Orleans is another one of them. AEW All Out 2021. That's a legendary show. And I'm sure there have been a few others that have been up there or just really, really, really good. I thought this one was for sure. But I don't think that, this one, it didn't quite hit classic for me. Although, we had 3 matches on this card that ended up being 3 match of the night candidates for me that I just cannot decide. And I still, for the life of me, cannot decide which match was the match of the night. Again, if I had a choice between the following 3, as I posted on all my social media accounts, it would be either the Trios Tag Title match with the Elite and the House of Black, the Texas Death Match with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, or that main event, the 60-minute Iron Man match that went into sudden death. I cannot tell. You guys tell me, which match do you guys think was your match of the night? And what are your thoughts on the pay-per-view, of course, altogether? But of course, we will get rolling because Dynamite is coming on in 4 minutes. Yes, I'm not going to complete this review in 4 minutes, but I don't want to get too far behind because I have a lot of TV to watch tonight. Because Wednesday nights right now are Dynamite, The Connors, and Survivor right now for me. But of course, the only show that you care about me talking about on Wednesday nights is Dynamite. So I will review Revolution. Raw, I will probably review tomorrow. Since I am going to be behind, not sure if I'll do Raw live or if I'll do that one pre-recorded. SmackDown on Friday. Well, Dynamite I'll try to do live. Can't guarantee though. And then SmackDown is Friday, and I'm going to SmackDown. Hopefully, as long as the weather's not bad out here. But so that probably will be whatever this weekend as well. But let's check the live chat. We do got Tyler in the live chat. He said he's sick of AEW's ego. This show proved it. And why do you believe that, Tyler? He gave the show 4 out of 10. Again, his opinion. I mean, I'm not sure, want to know what he didn't like about the show. And John Cena owned that Punk Austin theory on Raw. We will talk about that when I get to my Raw review. Actually, I might, no promises. Again, I don't know yet if I'll do Raw live or if I'll do a pre-recorded. Because there was a couple good, noteworthy points on Raw this week. But let me talk about Revolution first. And then, probably not tonight, but probably tomorrow at some point, we'll do Raw and Dynamite probably. Hopefully. Can't make any promises. Because, again, life is just, you never know right now. But again, we're going to roll in. We're going to talk about it. I do notice that I do look a little off with it. Well, probably just the way the lighting is on my scarf thing. But, Anyways, though. Demand's ready to be the man himself and review AEW Revolution 2023. All right, so I was close, I would say. Decently close to predicting the match order. Well, on the pre-show, there was a pre-show match. It was Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros taking on Ari Daivari and Varsity Athletes or whatnot. I didn't watch it, so I don't know who won, but I think that's who was on the pre-show. The show opened up with a match between Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho. Now, this was one of the matches going into it that I wasn't too, pumped for it. Mainly because, again, Ricky Starks has already beaten Chris Jericho. And since basically the whole story's been, can Chris Jericho beat Ricky Starks without the JAS? Because the whole thing was the JAS was banned from ringside. And can Ricky Starks beat him without the JAS? So that's why I kept thinking, well, in order to actually make this match look worth something, you gotta actually have, somebody else help Chris Jericho instead. And the match was good. It was good, but of course the only interference in the end was Sammy Guevara tried coming down the ramp during the match. Of course, again, JS was banned. And while he's coming down the ramp, Action Andretti just jumped in there and just beat the crap out of Sammy Guevara. But I'll still say it was good. Some good counters. Ricky Stark's ribs were taped up a little bit, so Chris Jericho kind of worked on the ribs a little bit. But Ricky got a victory, and if I'm not mistaken, besides Jon Moxley, is there anybody else who's gotten 2 victories over Chris Jericho? In a singles match, that is. You could probably say MJF because of, the Pinnacle, when he was with the Pinnacle, but I don't think for the life of me anybody else besides Jon Moxley and Ricky Starks have 2 victories over Jericho. In AEW, at least. I don't think so. Yeah, wow. So, yes, I get it. I still agree in what was the point of doing this match? Again, okay, yes, give Ricky Starks some time to shine on pay-per-view. But, again, it still didn't quite make sense to do the match, but the match was still good. It was still fine the way it is. Where Jericho goes after this, I don't know. I think was there a spot also where the referee was distracted by the outside interference that Jericho tried using Floyd on Ricky Starks, but that wasn't enough to put him away, which was kind of shocking. Now that Ricky's won, again, probably move him on to somebody else. Now, there is a TNT title match tonight. I was thinking also, what if they did a match, if Powerhouse Hobbs does win tonight? What if they reignited his rivalry with Ricky Starks? And that leads to Ricky Starks getting the TNT title, maybe. We'll see. There's somebody else on this card, which is actually the next match, that is also singles title hungry right now, so to speak. So yeah, Ricky gets the win. Okay. But again, I still don't 100% understand quite why they did this match, especially since the only outside interference was the people who were banned from ringside. Sammy Guevara was part of the JAS. And Action Andretti beat him down. But Ricky was able to overcome some close near falls, so, that's something to, put him over for sure. So yeah, that is the opening match. Again, it was, solid. It was good. Again, I'm still not sure. The story wasn't quite really there for me, but Ricky gets the win on pay-per-view. Very nice. We move on to match number 2, which is the final burial match. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, versus Christian Cage. Now, I will say before I get started, the stipulation confused me a little bit. And kind of, in some ways, disappointed me a little bit. I thought this was going to be a buried alive match. Instead, though, it was pretty much another version of a casket match. Like, usually, like a casket or a coffin match, 1 to 2, they're at ringside. This casket was up on the stage. And basically, like, set up as if, like, once the casket closes, which it did in this match, it'll go down as if they were legitimately buried. But of course, no dirt. I thought maybe they would have to, dump like dirt into the grave or something like that. Like, I wanted final burial. When I heard this, I was thinking buried alive, but it wasn't quite that. But the match was still what it needed to be. It was a fight. It was personal. Well, I wouldn't say it didn't feel quite as personal and brutal as it did for another match. But this, I feel like, was great. I'm not considering it one of my favorite matches of the night, but I definitely would say maybe number 4, maybe, as far as, my favorite matches on this card. But I still think, again, it was still brutal. It was very personal. I know there was times where Christian Cage was trying to, walk away from the match. He wanted nothing to do with it. There was the emotional side, too, showing that even though, of course, Jungle Boy, is angry and wanted just to tear the head off of a mentor he had for a while, he still had, a heart towards him also. Such as, of course, towards the end. And then, of course, even in the build as well. It was testing Jungle Boy. It's will he stand up for himself against someone who he once looked at as a freaking mentor? And whatnot. Wasn't too much blood, though. I know Christian did get busted open a little bit when Jungle Boy was slamming the hell out of his head into the steel steps. Some crazy spots up onto the ramp, towards the casket. There was a spot where Christian did get Jungle Boy into the casket, and it looked like it was it for him, but he was able to hold the casket open, get out of it. And then, eventually, though, Jungle Boy was able to get Christian Cage in his possession, and, he was able to, Christian went for a concerto, missed, but once Jungle Boy was able to get Christian down, he hit him with a concerto. Now, usually I think what happens with concertos, usually, you have the chair laid out, the top's right here. And you have, there's the top of the other chair that's coming down. Usually I think the top, at a 45-degree angle, hits, the head of the chair, and the whoever's head is taking the shot is on the middle part of the chair where the clock is open. This one looked like that Jungle Boy literally did smack Christian's head. Now, of course, it wasn't as brutal as the chair shot from Shawn Spears on the Cody Rhodes, but it was still, a nice looking shot there. And then when Jungle Boy goes to put Christian into the coffin, the casket, whatever you want to call it, he takes his time. And I'm thinking, don't do this. It's like, you finally got him, getting the revenge on him and wanting to get on him for the longest time. But he takes his time. He even kissed Christian on the forehead before slamming it shut. Obviously, again, showing that even though he, is absolutely, devastated by him turning on him, and, of course, pulling away his best friend, Luchasaurus, from him. And, yeah, of course, apparently, storyline-wise, no, he's not there anymore. Storyline-wise, they're claiming that Luchasaurus and Christian Cage took out Marco Stunt. But all of that emotion, though, but Jungle Boy was able to overcome it, slammed the top of the casket shut, and down into the hole went Christian Cage. Jungle Boy does get the victory. Now, of course, after this, again, where is he going with this? Because, again, his goal at the beginning of the year, which, of course, told Christian Cage claimed made him sick, was that he plans on trying to win a singles title. Now, I already mentioned the idea of Ricky Starks fighting Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT title, if, in fact, Powerhouse Hobbs does win the title tonight on Dynamite. But, of course, also, there is Jungle Boy. By the end of the year, either Jungle Boy or Ricky, one of the two will be a champion. Probably TNT champion, probably not world champion for either one of them, but we shall see who gets there first. Jungle Boy or Ricky Starks. We shall wait and see what's going to happen. All right, so that was great. But, of course, not as great as this next match. Now, first, the match was The Elite, the Carry On My Wayward Sons, taking on the House of Black, Kings of the Black Throne. And, of course, The Elite is Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. Taking on, again, House of Black's Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. The boyfriend also of Rhea Ripley. The boyfriend of Mommy. So does that make Buddy Matthews Daddy? Well, then again, Daddy made out with Mummy's man's sister. So, yeah, that's getting weird. Never mind. We're not going to go down that path. But anyways. So, again, what hurt my excitement a little bit for this match again was, again, the fact that there was absolutely no build for this match. None whatsoever. They just, yes, it was pretty obvious that it seemed that the next feud for the Elite after getting completed with Death Triangle was the House of Black, who desperately, one second. Who desperately, I feel, at some point, needed a bone thrown at them. Okay, they're good, but we know they can be great. Great like the Elite, who just have, some of the best chemistry in the world as a team. My fiance even sees how great the Elite are what's it called now? As of a team as they are. And I do believe the House of Black should be recognized as that as well. And boy, oh boy, did it ever happen. This match was crazy. Fast-paced, high-flying action, crazy-ass near falls. We're seeing, some people, a Buddy Matthews, who, seems to be more of, a third wheel, a sidekick. Again, we forget how good he was. Go back to his days when he was wrestling on 205 Live. His matches with Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, and a few others in there that he wrestled, of course. Heck, even in WWE when he got some singles opportunities, he had a great series of matches with his partner now, Malachi Black. Him and Alistair at the end of 2019 and 2020, whenever Paul Heyman was briefly the executive director of Raw, Buddy Matthews was having some excellent matches with Alistair Black, now Malachi Black. Also, don't forget this one, he has a pinfall victory over Bryan Danielson, too, in WWE as well on SmackDown. They had a crazy match. He even had a great match with Roman. Again, you'll forget how good Buddy Matthews really is. Brody King also. He's had some great matches. He wasn't a year or so ago, whenever he was briefly getting a couple singles match opportunities. I think he actually had a shot for the AEW World Title against Mox and did excellent. And Malachi Black, we all know how freaking awesome Malachi Black is. So again, at some point, you had to throw these guys a bone. It was one to the point where it's okay, they're great, but it's let them be great. Don't just have them be an occasional appearance here and there and do nothing after that. No. Put the freaking titles on them and roll with them. And as they did. But again, the near fall of this match, there was times I thought the Elite was going to win. Times I thought the House of Black would win. The one that got me the most that I thought that was over was when they hit that triple team V trigger on Malachi Black. I thought that was it for them, but they were able to break him all of the pinfalls, and yeah, eventually House of Black came alive, got the victory. Well, both teams were very alive throughout most of this match. It was again a very quick, fast paced, strong style, phenomenon of a match. It was crazy. And again, the House of Black are indeed your trios, your new AEW trios tag team champions. The third team already to hold those trios tag titles, as we've gotten, of course, the Elite, Death Triangle, of course, back to the Elite, and now the House of Black, who should have a good long reign. Give them matches against, again, you're going to do a rematch to the Elite, cool. I think they've already had matches with Death Triangle. Eventually, again, either the World Tag Titles or the Trio Tag Titles. Eventually, though, this year, one of them's got to go on Top Flight. If you want to have Top Flight and AR Fox dethrone these guys, cool with me. If you want to have, Top Flight just dethrone, whoever's tag champs, because they're the Guns currently, but it looks like somebody else is going to be taking them from them. But yeah, the matches you can a fresh team in the great set of shoes, if you want to say, the Elite. The House of Black. With how much on their level House of Black was with the Elite in this match. It again shows that hey, they were just waiting for that one opportunity to literally just go out there and just wreak havoc. And they killed it in this match. Easily, definitely one of the best 6-man tag matches I've seen in a while. Well, of course, besides, the Elite's matches, but definitely with Death Triangle in that best of 7, but this was easily an excellent, awesome 6-man tag match. And again, I'm happy the House of Black won as well. Match number 4. Oh yeah. We got this one. A triple threat match for the AEW Women's Championship. The champ herself, Jamie Hayter, versus Saraya versus Ruby Soho. So of course, going to this match again, what hurt it a little bit again was the fact that again we see what they're doing with Saraya as a heel. But one, it's still awkward that all these women are trying to get heel heat off of the faction of Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. And although, yes, they're both, popular, they're both lovable characters, they still have that bitch aspect to them. It still feels like they're still heels. And people who are probably, easier to get babyface reactions to are trying to get more heat off of them. So that situation is still awkward. But of course, then we have the third wheel of this match, Ruby Soho. And again, we're just wondering, again, who is Ruby Soho eventually going to side with? Who is she going to pick? The match show was good. We got some outside interference from Britt Baker and Toni Storm. Jamie Hayter, though, does retain the title by rolling up Ruby Soho. Afterwards, though, Saraya and Toni start beating down on everybody else, basically, except for Ruby. Ruby is just chilling in the back, watching everybody fight. Eventually, she comes in there. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, too, there was a spot in the match, and I don't know why it happened, but Saraya's in the middle. Ruby's on one side. Jamie's on the other. And then Saraya just goes, "Stop! Ah, crap." And then everybody just beats her up. Like, that was, what was the point of that? But, anyways. So the four of them are fighting, and Ruby's in the corner. Until she gets up and she kind of, steps in between them. Basically, it's like, okay, want me to decide somebody? I'll tell you who I'll go with. And she just tosses out Saraya and Toni. She just throws them both over the top ropes. And she stands side by side with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And at first it's like, okay. Ruby decided to stick with the originals. And then bam! That riot kick, what she calls it, or destination kick, whatever her new finisher is called in AEW, she hits it on one of the two baby faces. And Ruby Soho turns heel and joins Saraya and Toni Storm. Nice swerve there. I mean, yes, of course, there's still the green L. Still no explanation from the women themselves as to why they're doing this. Again, as I keep saying, it seems like what they're doing, again, people are saying AEW Originals, AEW Outsiders. I take it more so, again, as like Saraya is trying to play that role she was supposed to play when she came back in 2017 with Absolution. Because I thought at first maybe Mandy Rose would or even Mercedes Moné would show up on the show. But Mercedes, if she would show up to join one of these two teams, it probably would be like the fifth member. Because again, it looks like they're trying to get this to blood and guts. So Mercedes, maybe. I know some people said Athena would be good. I agree. Athena's a heel now. She's Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Want to involve in this feud as like an outsider? Cool. I do kind of want to see Mandy Rose. Because again, Mandy Rose is out of a job. She got fired. And again, I keep forgetting, don't forget this too. Mandy Rose was originally in Paige's Absolution stable. I'm sorry, Saraya's. So that's why I kind of also be intrigued to see if they would bring her in to be a part of it too. But of course, probably Mandy, and then maybe even either Athena or maybe Mercedes. Now, of course, for Britt Baker, I'd say Hikaru Shida probably in there. Maybe Riho. And I'm pretty sure the fifth member probably will be Thunder Rosa. I think either by Double or Nothing or before, Saraya's going to dethrone Jamie Hayter. And I think eventually this summer, we will get Saraya versus Thunder Rosa. Because I think she's going to be back soon. So, again, there's some stuff that this set up for. I mean, this was, the match was solid. But of course, it kind of gave another direction with Ruby Soho turning heel and joining up with Saraya and Toni. Yeah, I still don't get the spray painted green L's, but we'll see what she says tonight on Dynamite. We'll just have to roll with it and see what happens. They see me mowing. Although I used to think it was saying, you see me rolling. My front one. I know they're all thinking I'm so wide and everything was too... Okay, I'm just getting very crazy right now. But yeah, just checking this one quick thing. Anyways, let's check the live chat before we move on, 'cause that's 4 of the 8 matches. We mostly got Wrestling News 365. I thought that match of the night was MJF and Bryan Danielson. Who do you think should be next for MJF's AEW World Championship? And also, he said, I also like Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. I think somebody in that sentence there who hasn't already faced MJF should be the next person to challenge him. MJF and Kenny Omega would be a good match, or MJF versus Samoa Joe. I would like those definitely. Do Ricky Starks and MJF again. I'd say Rick explores again still. They only gave them 1 or 2 weeks of promo work, and they had great promo work with each other. So yeah, if they want to do Ricky Starks to MJF again, be my guest. Ricky Starks is a future AEW World Champion. I agree. Where's Jay Cargill been at? Not around much. That TBS title started to look very pointless, by the way. Can Samoa Joe go back to WWE? I'm waiting for it. If his contract expires and if Triple H is still in charge, I'm pretty sure he would go for Samoa Joe, especially if he grabs Samoa Joe back to NXT. But I don't know. Again, it's iffy right now with Vince McMahon, looming around. He apparently was backstage at Raw just to visit John Cena and sporting a mustache. But I don't know, guys. I'm getting way, way, way too nervous about Vince lurking around. I'm so happy that FTR returned. Me too. Tyler was hyped for WWE 2K23, and he thought the main event was overrated. Unfortunately, buddy, I disagree with that. But again, it's your opinion. But we're going to roll in with the second half of the show. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yes, this was another one of my favorite matches of the night. Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page, Texas Death Match. First off, the rules again was a tad bit confusing. I guess though the idea was you either had to get your opponent to submit, or basically beat the crap out of it. Basically, it was like a last man standing match with the submission stipulation being into effect as well. But I've said before, it does feel like a little bit Jon Moxley, and the bleeding stuff and him doing this and that. It's kind of gotten a little bit repetitive to a point where I feel like people kind of need a break from him a little bit. Because again, he was supposed to go on vacation last fall, but it didn't happen because of the media scrum crap and all that stuff. But I think my thing is when Jon Moxley is bleeding randomly on a random episode of Dynamite, especially one that gets a match gets interrupted by commercials, that might hurt it a little bit because it feels a little overdone. But in a match like this, that was just that personal, with the whole story again of Hangman Adam Page being knocked out by Jon Moxley in a title match they had last fall. And then Hangman took exception when he realized that he couldn't even remember his own son's name while he had that concussion. And he comes back and he wants to get his revenge on Moxley. And again, the two of these guys just beat the piss out of each other for months. Literally trying to destroy each other in this match. I mean, we got, what do we got here? We had, I think Hangman used barbed wire, just dug it into the forehead of Moxley. He even even jumped on Moxley a few times, having barbed wire wrapped around his waist like a belt. There, of course, was a barbed wire board out there and whatnot. But then Jon Moxley used a fork. And there was a spot in the match where Moxley had Hangman in a triangle choke. And again, here's again where blood really stands out. So Mox is already busted open from the barbed wire to the face. He then starts poking in the Hangman in the forehead with that fork, and then he's just casually raking down the face. It looks so deadly, but I'm just holy smokes, these guys brutally hate each other. They're trying to destroy each other. And then, like, so many other spots that was in there as well. Like, with weapons. There was a barbed wire bat in there. I think probably barbed wire chair. Like, just the craziness. And, of course, the near, countouts and everything. But what still shocked me, and I wouldn't have even thought of them doing this. Towards the end of the match, a chain was brought out. And I think they attacked each other with it for a little bit. But then there was a spot where Jon Moxley was on the apron. And I guess he got knocked off the apron. And he was being choked by the chain. Already gushing blood from being busted open. And a tear on his face. And basically in his own yard. A death match. A street fight. Like, that's Jon Moxley's specialty. In his own yard, pretty much. Jon Moxley tapped out. Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley beat the piss out of each other so bad that it literally, and again, this told story here, the fact that these two, like, brutally, like, despise each other right now. Hangman Adam Page made Jon Moxley do something I don't think he's done in like 10 years. And he tapped out. He tapped out, again, in his own like bread and butter type match. I looking back at this, my friend looked it up. This was the first time that Jon Moxley tapped out since an episode of Raw on October 21st, 2023. I'm sorry, not 2023. 2013. He tapped out to Daniel Bryan. That's the last time Jon Moxley tapped out. When you get somebody like Jon Moxley, who rarely taps out to tap out, it's a big deal. Especially, again, when this match is his specialty. These like death matches, these hardcore barbed wire death matches, and all these other like crazy shenanigans he does. That's something big. So like if you got someone to do that, like there's no way in hell that anybody else is going to get the next shot at MJF over Hangman Adam Page. And by the way, Hangman does have new music. They played something that was like a week or two ago on Dynamite, and I was just like, what the heck is this? But now that I've heard the whole the whole thing, I kind of like it. It sounds like a little, like, this old one, don't get me wrong, was good. But it sounds like a little more creativity was put into this newer one. But, again, I just could not believe, again, there's another, like, violent match. Like, similar to, like, we've gotten, like, violent matches, like, recently, the No Holds Barred with Samoa Joe and Darby Allin. Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega from Full Gear 2019 is still like one of the most brutal matches yet to date. And of course, we got a brutal one in the main event as well, because there was some people busted open in there as well. But we'll get to that shortly. But yes, this match again was brutal. It was violent. It was a classic. And again, the whole idea of having Jon Moxley being tapped out is something else. Like I said in my predictions, I would have Moxley, honestly, this is where I'd have him take a break for a bit. Again, have that vacation he was supposed to have last fall. And again, come back, revamped as a heel, new direction. Again, they've obviously teased the Blackpool Combat Club going in that direction entirely. So yeah, why not, just give him a break, have him come back as a full-blown heel, and we got a fresh Jon Moxley. It's time we do explore like that darker side of Mox. So, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. Let's just roll with it. As again, it will be pretty darn good whatever he does next. So yeah, that was another one of my favorite matches of the card. Then we have this match. That was pretty good. Samoa Joe and Wardlow. A nice house fight. My favorite spots, of course, was whenever Wardlow did, of course, the senton, which a guy his size from the senton's awesome. And then, of course, the finish, too. Wardlow jumped onto the back of... it looked like he was setting up Joe to do Dolph Ziggler's finish with a zigzag. But he literally just jumped up on top of Joe after several teases of Joe trying to get the muscle buster on Wardlow and a few others. But he jumped onto the back of Joe, yanked him down, and Wardlow won this match by getting Samoa Joe the choke to pass out to his own finisher, the Coquina Clutch. That's 2 matches in a row. You've had Jon Moxley tapping out in a match that he specializes in. And then you have Samoa Joe passing out to his own submission, the Coquina Clutch. And that wasn't the last time this happened either. But Wardlow's your new TNT champion. Again, I was surprised that they took the belt off Joe. I'm not sure if this is because they're going to have Joe focus more on Ring of Honor, not Ring of Honor has its own show, or if there's just other plans for him. We'll have to wait and see. But great match. This one was, I thought this would be solid, but it was actually pretty good. A little better than I thought it would be. So, very good TNT title match. Wardlow won. He's taking on Powerhouse Hobbs tonight, which I think there still could be a chance Powerhouse Hobbs could win that TNT title. If not, we'll see what Wardlow does next with the TNT title. Okay, the one match I had literally zero interest in, that I didn't really give this one much of a chance, and I was doing other stuff while this match was going on, is this Fatal 4-Way for the AEW tag titles. The Guns, who are the champs, taking on the Acclaimed, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, and a team of Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Again, I'll say it was decent. I just didn't give much of a crap to really give this match too much of a chance. I mean, what happened, it was kind of what I figured. Danhausen was going to eat the pin. He did some goofy stuff with Sonjay Dutt and Satnam Singh and all the other jazz. So like I said, I didn't really get to see too much of this match. Like I said, I was bitter about it. I was bitter because, one, Jeff Jarrett is in it, I don't get why. And again, I still don't understand why this was a Fatal 4-Way. But, what I thought happened. Danhausen ate the pin, and the Guns retained. But afterwards, the Guns started raving about how great of a tag team are, they've beaten the best. And then the music hits, and FTR come out and basically beat down and chase off the Guns. So, FTR's back. Again, there were some rumors they were considering going back to WWE. But I think with Vince McMahon, lurking back around again, they went, not interested. And they stuck around. So, again, the only reason why they have the belts on the Guns, who, I still don't think are the most legitimate champs that I have. The only reason why they're there, though, is because, again, FTR wrote them off last time. And now FTR's back to get their revenge on the Guns. So, that'll probably happen, again, like Saraya, either at Double or Nothing or before Double or Nothing. We'll probably see FTR be 2-time AEW World Tag Team Champions. Now, when this happened, though, of course, when FTR came back, I got my hopes up a little bit. I thought maybe since, they're good buddies in real life, I thought maybe this would be when CM Punk returned also after the main event. And we'll do CM Punk and MJF at the next show, Double or Nothing. But I'm guessing now we're going to be doing MJF and Hangman Adam Page at the next pay-per-view, maybe. But yeah, it was great seeing FTR back. No Punk yet, but I think soon we will see Punk back again. But let's talk about the final match, guys. And the third match that I'm considering match of the night as well. Because I cannot decide between this one, the Texas Death Match, and that Trios Tag Title match. But MJF and Bryan Danielson, AEW World Title. 60-minute Iron Man match. Now, in my 10 years as a wrestling fan, I think this is the first ever 60-minute Iron Man match I've ever watched live. Now, I will be honest, I would have rather seen Bryan at the time before this match have this with somebody like a Cesaro or a Claudio Castagnoli or even like a Johnny Gargano, a Jungle Boy, a few other people, who are more, technical style than MJF, who, yes, can wrestle, but he's more known for the microphone rather than the in-ring ability. I think this match even proved he's even much more better in ring than we thought they were. First off, the first 25 minutes of the match was mostly MJF, just trying to run the clock down, walking out of the ring to take his 10-second breathers, hiding behind referees, and just avoiding Bryan at all costs. Then first off, there was also a point in this match where MJF did wander into the crowd. And I guess he did toss what people say was water on a child's stomach. Now, I guess apparently the mother freaked out about it because it's tequila, which why would you bring in a tequila near your child? And I guess apparently they complained about it, and to make up for it, Tony Khan gave them tickets for tonight's Dynamite, and they allowed him to meet his favorite wrestler, which was Powerhouse Hobbs. But then the first fall came when Bryan hit a Busaiku knee on MJF to get a clean pinfall victory. MJF, though, would sneak 2 victories after first getting himself disqualified by low blowing Bryan. And then when they kept advising that, the clock will not stop in between pinfalls, I'm like, geez, if only somebody would take advantage of that and try to pin somebody twice in a row. And MJF did that. He hit Bryan where the sun does not shine. And off of that vicious low blow, he was able to pin Bryan twice. And despite the fact getting lured to disqualify himself, he gets caught up and ties it all up. And then he would get a third pinfall victory. And then Bryan got another one, getting MJF to tap out there. Actually, the third one MJF got. MJF went, again, he's done some things. Again, he's played the role at times where it's like he's holding back, but then he lets out something that we didn't know he could do. He's like, yeah, I know, I do that stuff. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to please you people, as he always would say and feel. But yeah, I know he did a freaking backward moonsault or whatnot at one point in the match, laying on his leg and then fake that he hurt his knee when he really didn't. Oh gosh, I lost the train of thought. Oh, there was a point in the match where I think it was right before MJF got his third fall. He tombstoned Bryan through a table, and I think in one or two other spots he tombstoned him. And then Bryan, from that first tombstone through a table, got busted open. There was a shot of MJF squeezing at the wound and letting more blood come out. It was, oh my goodness, graphic, but it was genius of MJF to do. Again, the psychology in this match, off the charts. And then Bryan eventually gets it all tied up back up at 3 again when he gets MJF to tap out to the label lock. And then the time ran out as Bryan was working on the legs of MJF, and MJF did start tapping out as soon as the bell rang. And they were originally calling the match a draw until Tony Schiavone comes out and says, nope, Tony Khan says this match is going to sudden death. And it's holy smokes. So it's some people were saying this is going to be another Brett and Shawn 1 hour, no pinfall victories. Adding in some pinfall victories made this match even much more crazier and dramatic as it was. And then the match resumed, and there was a couple of spots where, like I said, where MJF, tapped out when the clock ran out for the Iron Man match. There was a moment where, towards the end, where Bryan had MJF like a single leg crab, and it looked like MJF for real was going to tap out. It looked like he was going to have enough. But nope, that son of a gun grabs the bottom rope with his middle finger. As he grabs the rope, though, he starts to tap out, just to throw off Bryan Danielson, who think that he had won. MJF, though, in the meantime, escapes from this, goes under the ring, and I guess apparently MJF for real does have asthma, so he does have to get like some oxygen and water here and there. But when Bryan came to check on him, MJF just went, I chucked his the oxygen tank back at him in the face. Oh yeah, and also there was a spot in the match where he tried to use the belt. I think either going into sudden death or before it was marked as sudden death. But basically MJF was warned that, hey, you use that belt and I'm going to take the title off of you. Like, he would not have retained through disqualification. He would have lost the belt getting disqualified. Lost my train of thought. Crap. But then, yes, sudden death happened. Again, the oxygen tank. And then, off that oxygen tank, which Bryan... Oh, yeah. The submission Bryan did for the third fall he got was with the Regal stretch, which was awesome throwback since MJF was the one who wrote off Regal. And then, as bloody open and as brutally tired as they were, even though Bryan Danielson kept smiling at times and showing the signs of, like, this is his wheelhouse, but MJF was able to beat Bryan Danielson, not only in his own wheelhouse, but with his own material. MJF got Bryan Danielson to tap out to the label lock. And that's how the fourth fall comes to play. And that's how MJF gets the victory. I am very intrigued to hear him, gloating about him getting the best in the world to tap out, which keeps saying best in the world, maybe you think that he's going to fight CM Punk. But again, he's probably going to be fighting Hangman next, probably. But, yeah, this main event was awesome. The psychology was there. I feel like it made MJF improve as a main eventer in the ring as well. Bryan looked great. Overall, this show, again, was just... It exceeded my expectations. I gave it an A. I know some people thought it was legendary, classic. Like I said, just a couple of things I'm like, not too quite. But I gave it an A. An excellent show. Again, my three favorite matches, again, were the Trios Tag Titles, the Texas Death Match, and the Iron Man match. And also, I have never, until this date, until this past Sunday, live, seen a 60-minute Iron Man match. All the ones I've watched were 30 minutes. No, wait, that was a lie. That was a lie, because NXT had one when Samoa Joe relinquished the title. No, that wasn't Samoa Joe, was it? Oh, who was it now? Crap. Karrion Kross, that's who it was. When it had that fatal four-way Iron Man match with Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, and Johnny Gargano. But yeah, there's definitely other people I would have loved to have seen Bryan have this Iron Man match with, but hey, gave to MJF, gave him a chance, and he knocked it out of the park. So, but that does it again, guys, for this review. Live chat. I think we had this Wrestling News 365 saying, Hook should be in the World Championship picture. Not yet, but sometime soon, yes. And he liked the Ruby Soho heel turn. Nice. And we'll see again what happens next, of course, with the women. Guys, that's going to do it. Again, I gave Revolution an A. What grade would you guys give Revolution? And what was your match tonight as well? Again, my top three picks are still the Trios Tag Title match, the Texas Death match, and the Iron Man match. What was your match tonight? What grade would you give this? I gave this an A. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts again down in the comment section below. And be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club with the Man 93. Be sure to also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the Club with the Man 1993. And guys, I'm gonna go chill for a little bit. I'll catch y'all later. Love y'all. Have a great rest of your night. And remember though, In order to become the man, you've got to be superior to the man. And for I am the man himself.